Oh, hello, my fellow gaming tinkers. I am back. After a bit of a break, maybe I'll go into that later, maybe not, whatever. I'm here with a video that I have been wanting to make for months, but I needed it to coincide with America's 250th birthday because this video is... I am not going to sugarcoat it. You can call me biased or whatever, or you can accept the truth that the M1A2 Abrams is the best Era 3 MBT. And I say that as a T72 lover, as a T80 lover, but before I get too far in that, what you're seeing here is the precursor to my first match. So this is going to be unedited, and you're going to get to see it all. It's a bit raw, may not be the best, and I know you want to get to the action, but I wanted to show you how I set it up for the first match and how I don't change a damn thing. All I did, because any tank after Era 2, I put on the missile detection system. I put on some consumables. Of course, I have Abrams as a commander. But usually equipment is used to either play up a tank strengths and downplay the weaknesses, or are necessary to plug the holes that the flaws in that tank make. When it came to the Abrams, almost was in that first match that comes up, and in every match since, I have not felt the need to put on equipment. This tank is that amazing. Is it flawed? Yes, but more on that. But first, this tank is such a solid performing tank, from armor to gun handling. Sorry, to boom stunt handling, mobility. I was shocked. The fact that at the end of the first match and at the end of the match, every match since, I'm like, could I put on equipment to make it better? Yes. Okay, so I have, but spend in-game money to make it better. I could, but I don't feel that I need to. And that's how I like to play these things, or set up my tanks. What equipment will make this tank better? When I got to the M1A2 Abrams, just with the commander and what I have on there alone, I felt this tank was performing at its full potential. No other tank in my decade of playing this game has given me this level of confidence. Okay, you can criticize the fact that, yes, I have very few tanks in World War II mode now. But in Cold War mode, I have almost all of the MBTs except for the Leclerc and the Japanese Type 90. And I know for a fact, having played some, the Leclerc turret is suspect. Type 90 is a good tank, but again, bit derpy. From what I understand, don't have it. I can't pass full judgment. But when it came to the Abrams and having played the Leopard 2A5, the Black Eagle Object 640, T72BU, the Chinese whatever, I did not feel any sort of sense of like, oh, also the Merkava. I was like, this is astounding. How just from both to prove this is my first match. Here I am. I'm going to speed up the time, but this is stock. I was like, right off the bat, before I've got any upgrades, before I put in, I was like, all I need to do is just get the upgrades. I have never felt from the very beginning of playing a tank in the texture, that I was like, all right, I get a sense of what the flaws are and where I need to improve. I don't know. This is one of those weird things. You know, they say you love a person for their flaws, because you can kind of work. They kind of complete you because your flaws kind of mesh with their strengths, and their flaws mesh with your strengths. You know what I mean? To where you kind of go, all right, I want to be with this forever and keep working with this. That's where I say, like, I don't know if I could love this thing because it's so damn good, but at the same time, it is astounding how good this thing is. But is it OP? No. The gripe I have is, obviously, the upper plate is weak. So if the enemy is above you, angled down, they can pen you. The turret gap, oh my god, from the front, the way the turret armor's angled, yeah, that's a shot trap. So if the enemy knows where to shoot, you got a problem. But at the same time, I'm going to emphasize, keep a look at the upper corner, especially if I get to other clips. I don't want this to be too long or anything. No one really watches my videos after 5 minutes, but the amount I block can be astounding to me. I do 5,000 damage, 7,000 damage, 10,000 damage. I'll look. 7,000 block, 8,000 block. I don't know if I've hit 10,000 block, but every time I see how much damage I've blocked, especially at, even if it's a loss, it's kind of like, sweet jeez-um. This tank took a pounding. I haven't felt that level of confidence since the T-72 AV in Era 2. That's the top of the line for the Soviet T-72s. It is... But again, I have equipment on my T-72 AV. It has flaws. Again, this is... I'm like, I don't need to put equipment on. This is literally, like, for me, in my mind, this is 98% perfect. If you disagree with me or agree with me, comment down below. Now, when it comes to the Soviet tanks, with their lower profile, smaller tanks, MBTs I should say, not to be confused between their mediums, okay, smaller silhouette. However, fuel tanks can be taken out relatively easily, and pops can be tops can be popped. Obviously, with the M1A2 getting flanked, especially from the side and from the midpoint back, you got a bit of an issue. Rear of the turret soft, like so many MBTs. But this is one of those things you learn quickly. Protect your tracks. Keep the armor facing forward, especially the lower plate, which is it's weird. That is the best armor on this tank almost. And so I was like, you know what? I want to be a little bit above the enemy actually, or I want to be, just scoot my front a little bit higher above the ridgeline. I want to keep my upper plate angled well away, as opposed to with other tanks where you want to emphasize the angle and armor of your upper plate because that's where it's thickest. This not so much. And it is one of those things like great accuracy, reloads. This is still stock, no upgrades, nothing. And even here I'm like, you know what, get the better gun, get the better tracks. If there's an engine upgrade, great. But again, can do almost 70 kilometers per hour. Suck it, World of Tanks heat. World of Tanks mod armors MBTs are faster and more more mobile. Fuck you. I mean, no, don't. No, I do love World of Tanks heat. I'm just feeling. That's the biased. Almost over a decade with mod armor. I'm not hating on the new kid of the block, but I'm just saying every time I play the damn Abrams in that game and it hits 55 kilometers per hour and that's it. It's like, oh dear. Suddenly I'm bored. But no, I have to admit, I don't know if I've always suspected, and I was definitely confirmed, that World of Tanks Modern Armor has an American bias, and the Abrams for me proves it, and I love it. And with how things are going to change at the end of this year, and I suspect that the biases will shift, and not to like be less favorable to American tanks, but I feel that the Abrams might be outclassed eventually by something. But no, I love this tank. It is one of those times where it's perfect right out of the gate. Oh man, I don't know what else to say, but I want to get to the next clip because that really emphasizes how much damage I can block. It's kind of boring, but I guess I'll, in the interim. Alright, so for me, when it comes to creating videos, I need to be in the right mood. You know, I gotta be. Yes, those are balloons, because you can't. It's not a birthday without balloons. And happy birthday, America! 250 years. Did I mention that? 250 years? Hell yeah! So, and I kind of was a little bit in a funk, kind of down, and then I got sick, which slowed everything down. So when my creative juices were almost at zero, so I was like, When I was sick, it was like, I did the bare minimum of functioning, and that was that. Now back to the video. So I'm not really shit. The downside to my plan was I started playing so long ago that I can't quite remember what exactly the time period of, like, where I was in the upgrades. This might be a fully upgraded M1A2, but not elated. Now, this is going to be a little bit boring, because this is where I sit in this map, which is by Severogorsk, and I don't like Severogorsk. Severogorsk? I don't know how you want to pronounce it, but... So, I just sit here, rocking back and forth. And the enemy finally comes around the corner. I'm already kind of assuming the direction of this is going to go, because it's just me over here. I thought the enemy was going to come this way, you know, do the other Severogorsk circle. And I'm also kind of concerned my team's not going to be able to hold back the enemy team up over there in the D3 region, you know, that standard fighting point. But I was like, all right, well, I'm all by myself sort of here. If I don't get overly stupid, I guess I can just rack up some kills, get some damage, get something out of this. You know, it's not the best scenario. And I knew that going forward. So I was like, all right, make the best if you can. I don't want to be rush out there, because I'm pretty sure there's still some ATGM capable tanks near their base trying to snipe from there. I'm familiar with that. So it's like, all right, let them come to me. I do have an ally in a medium tank. Not the best here. All right, great. So I'll just wait it out. And then hope for a miracle of miracles that maybe my team will try to... Oh, maybe they'll succeed over there on the other hill. For me, it was just like... Well, I have a hole, and it's not too bad. It'll make a nice grave. Like I said before, pay attention to the upper right corner, especially when it comes to damage. Here, I'm doing the best I can to just wait them out. I know, you're going to hear that so much. It's like patience. This is one of those more times I'm like, damn it. I can't just rush out. Here, I didn't realize the time, but now that, you know, hindsight being 20, I see that my team's now, some of them have broken in there and just started pushing down the center of the map. cutting off the enemy and flanking them on my side, which is lovely. Hero has now up to 5,000 blocked damage. Thankfully, not too much of this. Auto cannons are wonderful at helping getting that block damage. It's like, yeah. Remember, if you ever come across those contract scenarios, it's like, hey, oh, you need to block so much damage. Find the best armored tank you've got, go into Era 2, and then sit in front of one of the French mediums or a light tank. And you try to keep the front of your tank with the best armor facing them. You will rack up that block damage very well. AT-gems can be a bit more finicky, but... So now, I'm starting to peek out of my hole. Trying to help detect... And I get hit. The ATGM was above, angled down onto either the upper plate, or they just found the gap between the turret and the hull. Like I said, those are the sweet spots from the front. And that's where I was like, ah! The biggest, most insufferable thing I can ever see when I'm in this thing is a tank on top of a hill or slightly above me. It's like, no! You found my weakness! Being slightly higher than me. Damn! It's such a weird thing. I'm like, ah. Curse you. Oh. I set them on fire. Lovely. Which is nice, because now my damage is equal to my block damage, which has gone up slightly. Because again, stop hitting me with the AT gems. Ah, block that. And that helped me get my block damage. Like that, I sit in this little spot, and I just come to me. And thankfully, my team was able to not suck. RNG, whatever's in for. So I survived long enough for my team to succeed, which was a miracle on Spherical. Because usually within 2 minutes, you kind of get a sense of the direction of the match is going. Now I'm kind of like, well, I could just sit here and take what I got, which isn't too bad. But you know what? I've got some health. The enemy doesn't have so much health, and let's be real. I'm an MBT. There's a light tank. I wanted to crush you, but no. You just had to get far enough. You stupid doesn't worry about it anyway. Nope. Now I'm just mop it up. I have 8,000 block damage. Like, I know the 6,000. That's all right. All right. Well, hopefully I might make it the 700. But I was like, holy crap, 8,000 block damage. That can be also impressive. But here you see on the move. So much about this thing is awesome. So let me know. Do you agree with me that as much as I still love the T-72s, and they will dominate my heart, but the Abrams, damn America getting the job done. Ooh, yeah. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Do you think the Abrams is the best MBT in World of Tanks Mod and Armor? And if not, if your mother raised you right, then you know not to say, to keep your unkind words to yourself, okay? Alright. Have a happy 4th of July. Be safe. Try not to get dumb with the fireworks. I want you all back here with all 10 fingers and toes and intact buttholes. So, keep your tracks on the ground. RNG in favor. I got you in the next one. Goodbye.